darkness of the 41st millennium, there is no peace, there is no salvation. Not even death offers release. For in the Imperium of man, there are fates far more horrifying than the grave. One of them is to be remade, stripped of everything that makes you human, and reshaped into a tool of flesh and steel. To become a servitor, imagine this. You are an ordinary citizen of the Imperium, perhaps a laborer on a hive world, a farmer tilling the soil on some distant agri-planet, or a soldier among countless millions of the Astra Militarum. You are no one special, just another cog in the endless machine of humanity's survival. But that is exactly why you are vulnerable. Because in the Imperium, the value of your life is measured only in how useful you are to the Emperor's war machine. One day, everything you know ends. The Arbites drag you from your hovel, or perhaps you are selected by decree. Maybe you are a prisoner, a heretic, a dissenter. Maybe you were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. It does not matter. Once the eye of authority falls upon you, your fate is sealed. You are herded into a transport, surrounded by others who share your terror. Chains bind your hands and feet, the cold metal cutting into your skin. No one explains anything. No one tells you why. Because in the Imperium, you no longer have the right to know. You are property now. The ship that carries you is a moving prison, a cathedral of steel and suffering. Its corridors echo with the mechanical footsteps of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their bodies a grotesque mixture of rotting flesh and whirring machine parts. Their voices drone in binary prayers, hymns to the Omnissiah, alien and cold. Their eyes red bionic lenses watch you with all the compassion of a predator observing prey. When the ship lands, you are taken to the place of your unmaking. A chamber of iron and shadow, stinking of blood and machine oil. The walls are lined with racks of tools, bone saws, drills, cables, syringes filled with glowing fluids. The air trembles with the static of chanting tech priests. Their words are not for you. They are for the machines, for the Omnissiah, for the sanctification of what they are about to do. You are strapped to a slab of metal. Cold restraints bite into your wrists and ankles. You thrash and scream, but it means nothing. A needle plunges into your neck, flooding your veins with chemicals that do not numb the pain, only sharpen your awareness. Your head spins, your body grows heavy, but your senses remain cruelly intact. The first cut burns like fire. You smell your own flesh as it is cauterized. A drill whirs as they open your skull, sliding wires and circuits into the meat of your brain. You feel the alien presence of machine code flooding into your mind, commands, numbers, patterns that drown out your thoughts. You try to remember your family, your home, the faces of those you love, but they fade, like paintings washed away by acid, replaced instead by the cold litany of orders. Confirm, obey, task 32, commence cycle. You are still alive, but you are no longer you. When the process is complete, your body is a grotesque parody of what it once was. One arm replaced by a heavy drill or a plasma cutter, the other grafted with a crude firearm, its cables fused into your nervous system. Tubes run from your spine into power cells bolted to your back. Your skin is pierced with ports and wires, your veins stitched with steel. Your voice is gone, replaced by static bursts of machine speech. And yet, a small piece of you remains. A sliver of consciousness, trapped deep inside the prison of your new body. You still feel, you still suffer, you still know that you were once human. But you cannot act, you cannot speak, you cannot scream. You are a passenger, watching through dead eyes as your body obeys commands not your own. This is existence as a servitor. Endless labor in the mines, your metal arms shattering stone until they overheat and burn your flesh. Or endless war, as your body shambles forward under enemy fire, your weapon arms blazing until your body collapses in the mud. There is no rest, no mercy, no escape. To the Imperium, you are not a man or a woman anymore. You are a resource, a tool, a weapon. And when you break, they will salvage your parts, melt down your flesh, and discard what remains. Another body will take your place. This is the grim truth of the Imperium. Billions live and die, and the value of a single soul means nothing. To become a servitor is to lose everything: your freedom, your identity, your humanity. You are not man. You are not machine. You are the thing in between, forever enslaved, forever silent, forever broken. And in the 41st millennium, there are fates far worse than death. Becoming a servitor is one of them. What is a servitor? To answer that is to confront the very essence of horror in the Imperium. A servitor is not simply a man, nor is it a machine. It is something trapped in between, a grotesque fusion of both, belonging fully to neither. A servitor is a living reminder that humanity itself is just another resource to be consumed, reshaped, and discarded by the endless war machine of the Imperium. When you look upon a servitor for the first time, your eyes do not know where to settle. The body is still recognizably human limbs of bone and muscle, a face hidden beneath scars and metal ports, but every feature has been twisted, violated, and rebuilt. Metal grafts pierce flesh like cancerous growths. Tubes pump thick, chemical fluids into ruined veins. A heavy harness of steel is bolted directly into the spine, feeding wires into the nervous system like parasites burrowing into their host. Most servitors are mute, their tongues cut out, or their throats replaced by vox grills that emit only bursts of static or droning monotone responses. Their eyes, if they still have them, are glazed over, clouded by pain or cybernetic replacement. Many stare blankly into the distance, unblinking, their gaze locked not on the world before them, but on some endless command loop repeating inside their minds. And yet, every servitor is unique, tailored to the task for which it has been condemned. Some are hulking giants, their arms replaced by hydraulic drills, hammers, or mining claws, built to toil endlessly in the darkness of the underhive. Others are twisted into instruments of war, combat servitors fused with heavy bolters, flamers, or plasma weapons. Their legs are reinforced with pistons, their torsos armored in crude plating. They are living gun platforms, their flesh merely a shell to anchor the machine. There are tech servitors, half-conscious assistants to the Adeptus Mechanicus, crawling with mechadendrites and sensor probes, whispering binaric cant through broken vox units. There are gun servitors, wired into defensive batteries aboard starships, their minds stripped to a single command: target, fire, reload. There are labor servitors, fitted with saws, welding torches, and hauling rigs, condemned to endless toil until their flesh rots from their bone. But beneath all this variety, one thing remains constant. The humanity has been stripped away. A servitor has no will of its own. Its personality has been erased, overwritten by a litany of machine code commands hardwired into its brain. The man or woman who once existed is gone, their memories shattered, their thoughts drowned out by programming. And yet, sometimes, if you stand close, you might sense it, a flicker behind the eyes, a twitch in the hand, a stifled sob deep in the throat, tiny fragments of the human soul that refuse to die, locked forever inside the machine. For this is the most horrifying truth of the servitor. They are not corpses, they are alive. Their hearts still beat, their blood still flows, their nerves still carry signals of agony. They feel every cut, every bruise, every strain as they labor. And though their minds are caged, a piece of awareness remains, like a prisoner screaming inside a cell, unheard and unseen. Imagine the torment of lifting heavy loads day after day, your mechanical arms grinding into the bone of your shoulders, sparks burning your skin, while your body moves without your consent. Imagine firing a weapon until it overheats, scalding your flesh, while your programming refuses to stop. Imagine watching your own hand now, a blade, a claw, or a drill tear into flesh and bone at the command of another, and being powerless to resist. This is what it means to be a servitor. To the Adeptus Mechanicus, servitors are sacred tools. They are the union of flesh and machine, proof of the Omnissiah's design. Tech priests do not pity them. They do not see tragedy. They see function. A servitor that operates efficiently is a holy artifact. A servitor that malfunctions is recycled without hesitation. In the cold, mechanical eyes of the Mechanicus, a servitor is no different from a cogitator unit or a power cable. Flesh is simply another resource to be wired and burned. To the rest of the Imperium, servitors are background. They are everywhere, and yet invisible. On every forge world, swarms of servitors shuffle through manufactoria halls, hammering, welding, assembling weapons of war. On every starship, they tend to the endless engines, crawling through the bowels of the machine's spirit, patching leaks, cleaning reactors, loading munitions. In the fields, they till the soil until their hands rot away. On the battlefield, they advance in silence, heedless of fear, heedless of pain, until their bodies are shredded by gunfire. Common citizens rarely think of them as human at all. They are simply machines, tools, something to ignore unless they fail. The true horror is that no one questions this. No one stops to wonder who the servitor once was. They could have been a farmer, a mother, a brother, a child. Now they are nothing. The defining characteristic of a servitor is not the steel grafted into their flesh. It is not the weapons or the tools. It is the loss of self. They are the living embodiment of slavery, perfected not just chains on the body, but chains on the mind, on the soul itself. And once transformed, there is no return. Even death is uncertain. For when a servitor finally collapses, when flesh and metal alike can no longer function, their remains are picked clean, usable components are salvaged, grafted onto new bodies. Bones and organs are recycled for sustenance or fuel. Nothing is wasted. The individual ceases to exist entirely, absorbed into the endless cycle of consumption that defines the Imperium. This is the nature of servitors. Nameless, faceless, endless. A sea of half-human drones without identity, without freedom, without mercy. They are the shadows that fill the factories, the silent custodians of warships, the walking corpses that build the Imperium's war machine. And perhaps the most chilling truth of all is this. To the Imperium, to the tech, priests, to the High Lords of Terror, this is not horror, this is not tragedy, this is necessity. In the 41st millennium, man has become so small, so cheap, so expendable, that even the sanctity of the human soul is just another raw material to be processed. And so long as the Imperium endures, so too will the endless march of servitors mindless, pitiful, eternal. To understand what it means to become a servitor, you must walk through the ritual of unmaking a process as clinical as it is horrific, performed countless times every day across the Imperium. It is not one act, but a sequence of degradations, each one stripping away another fragment of what makes you human, until nothing remains but a hollow husk of flesh and steel. It begins with selection. Perhaps you are a prisoner sentenced by the Arbites. Perhaps you are a Psyker judged unworthy for the black ships. Perhaps you are a heretic, a debt slave, or simply one of the billions deemed useless to the Imperium. The reason does not matter. What matters is that your name is recorded, your body catalogued, and your fate sealed. From that moment forward, you are no longer considered a citizen. You are a resource. You are transported to a Mechanicus facility, an enginarium of flesh. The corridors are lined with red-robed tech priests, chanting hymns of the Omnissiah. Their mechadendrites curl and twitch, tipped with saws, syringes, and drills. You are herded with others, like cattle, shackled, collared, stripped of clothing and dignity. The smell hits you first, antiseptic chemicals mixed with machine oil, and beneath it, the iron tang of blood. The preparation stage begins. Your head is shaved, your skin scrubbed raw with chemical solvents. Identification sigils are branded into your flesh, marking you as property of the Mechanicus. Electrodes are attached to your skull, scanning your brain patterns, measuring your pain threshold. Tech priests converse in bursts of static binary, their voices devoid of emotion as they decide which parts of you will be useful and which can be discarded. Then comes the surgery. You are strapped to a cold iron slab. A metal clamp locks around your jaw to silence your screams. They do not anesthetize you, not fully. The Imperium does not waste precious narcotics on the condemned. Instead, they inject you with a cocktail of stimulants and paralytics, designed to keep you awake, aware, and motionless. You feel everything. The first incision splits your flesh. You smell yourself burning as cauterizing blades cut into muscle. Your limbs are measured, weighed against the tools that will replace them. Perhaps your arm is amputated at the shoulder, the stump drilled and bolted with a plasma cutter or a heavy flamer. Perhaps your legs are sawn off and replaced with piston-driven stilts of steel. Your spine is split open, cybernetic conduits grafted into your nervous system, linking flesh to circuitry. The most sacred step is the cranial augmetics. A drill pierces your skull. The tech priests lower a data spike into your brain, threading wires deep into the cortex. Memory engrams are wiped. Personality is overwritten. What you once were, your loves, your fears, your dreams, are erased like chalk from a slate. In their place, they install machine code, command loops, binary protocols, kill switches. The voice in your head is silenced, replaced by cold imperatives. Obey, comply, execute. You are still conscious. You are still alive. You feel the invasion of your mind, the loss of yourself. You try to resist, to hold on to a memory, a thought, a single shred of your identity. But each attempt is met with surges of electricity that sear your neurons until you yield. Piece by piece, you are dismantled. Once the programming is complete, they test you. Commands are spoken in technolingua. Your body obeys without hesitation. Your arm rises. Your legs move. Your voice box emits static affirmations. You do not want to obey, but you cannot stop yourself. The prison is no longer physical, it is inside your own mind. Then comes the augmentation. Plates of armor are riveted into your torso. Tubes are inserted into your lungs to feed recycled air. Nutrient slurry is pumped through your veins, replacing food. Ports are drilled into your skin for easy access. Every part of you is redesigned for efficiency. Flesh is only tolerated where metal cannot serve. Finally, the ritual of completion. The tech priests encircle you, chanting litanies of binding. They anoint your implants with sacred oils, etching cog-toothed symbols of the Omnissiah into your remaining skin. You are not blessed as a person, but sanctified as a tool. A servitor is not seen as a fallen creature, but as a perfected union of flesh and machine. Your suffering is irrelevant. Your humanity is irrelevant. Only function matters. When the clamps release, you rise not by your own will, but because the program instructs you to. Your movements are stiff, mechanical, efficient. You no longer walk as a man walks. You shamble like a machine on broken flesh. You no longer speak. When ordered, you emit static bursts of confirmation. You no longer think. You only comply. You are led away, filed among rows of others. A warehouse of bodies, each unique in shape, but identical in emptiness. Some carry industrial tools, others weaponry. Some shuffle on crude legs of metal. Others crawl on all fours with blades for hands. All stare blankly ahead, waiting for orders. This is the process of transformation, selection, preparation, surgery, cranial rewriting, augmentation, completion. At each stage, humanity is peeled away. At each stage, you die a little more, until at last, you are not a man, not a woman, not a person at all. You are a servitor alive, yet no longer living. The tragedy is not that you are gone. The tragedy is that a part of you remains, buried deep, trapped, screaming in silence, forever aware of the prison of your own body. And in the Imperium, there is no rescue, no mercy, only endless cycles of labor, obedience, and pain. Thus the transformation is complete. From citizen to prisoner to subject to tool, from human to husk to servitor. I wake, but not as I once did. There is no dawn, there is no bed, there is no breath of air drawn freely into lungs. There is only the cycle, a cold pulse of binary light behind my eyes, a command string scrolling through my mind like a prayer I never asked to learn. I remember that I was human. I had a name. I had hands that were soft, a voice that could sing, eyes that could weep. Now my hands are tools bolted to my bones. My voice is a burst of static. My eyes are cloudy, lenses feeding data to a cogitator I cannot see. I do not know if the memories are real or only ghosts, scraps left over after the lobotomy. But they hurt. They hurt more than the steel that pierces my skin. I am aware of everything. The Mechanicus priests lied, or perhaps they simply never cared. They stripped away my will, but not my pain. They erased my identity, but left a shard of me awake, a passenger in a machine I cannot stop. I feel the weight of the drill grafted to my arm, the sting of coolant leaking onto raw flesh, the vibration of my piston legs grinding against the deck plating. I feel hunger but do not eat. I feel thirst but do not drink. Nutrient slurry drips through tubes into my gut, keeping me alive against my will. When the order comes, I move. Not because I choose to, but because my nervous system fires without my consent. My body lurches forward in a parody of a walk, cables pulling at my spine, joints creaking with servos. I cannot even control my eyelids. I must stare straight ahead at whatever task I am given, like a puppet with invisible strings. Sometimes I am in the manufactoria. I lift and hammer and weld for hours, days, without rest. Sparks shower across my scarred skin, burning but unheeded by the programming. My muscles tremble, but the pistons keep moving. My ears ring with the endless clatter of machines and the binary hymns of tech priests walking past. They do not look at me. To them, I am not a worker. I am a wrench, a hammer, a living tool. Other times, I am sent to war. My body is mounted with a heavy bolter fused to the nerves in my arm. The programming orders me to advance, to fire, to reload. I wade through mud and blood, my piston legs driving me forward even as fire scorches my skin and shrapnel tears into my chest. I hear the screams of those I shoot. I want to stop. I want to throw the weapon away. But my finger squeezes the trigger again and again. My mouth emits static confirmations. My legs march until they collapse. I am a turret made of meat. There is no time. There is no night or day. Only task cycles, numbered and executed. Cycle 84, carry ore. Cycle 85, weld plate. Cycle 86, purge infestation. Between cycles, I stand idle, plugged into a charging station. My head droops. I do not sleep. My body does not allow it. But in those moments of stillness, I drift inward. That is when the memories come. Faces without names. A child's laughter. The smell of bread. A sun I will never see again. They flicker and fade, and I reach for them, but the programming shocks my neurons until they vanish. The machine does not tolerate daydreams. The worst is not the pain. The worst is not the endless labor. The worst is the fragments. I can still feel emotions, faint and muffled, like echoes in a cave. Fear, grief, shame. Once, as I passed a reflective sheet of steel, I saw my own face. It was not my face. It was pale and sunken, stitched with wires, a vox grill where a mouth had been. But for an instant, deep in those clouded eyes, I saw me. I tried to cry. My tear ducts are gone. My mouth emitted a burst of static. Sometimes, I think I hear others. We servitors do not speak, but our eyes meet in the manufactoria or on the battlefield. Behind the blank stares, I see glimmers of awareness. Do they too remember? Are they too trapped? We cannot ask. We cannot comfort each other. We shuffle past like ghosts chained to our own corpses. The tech priests call us perfected. They anoint our implants with sacred oils. They inscribe the cogtooth symbol of the Omnissiah onto our skin. To them, we are holy instruments. To the Imperium, we are invisible. No one wonders who we were. No one asks if we feel. We are function. We are silence. We are endless. Even death is denied to us. When my arm gun overheats, it burns into my shoulder. When my piston leg jams, it tears at the tendons beneath. But the nutrient slurry keeps me alive. The pain inhibitors prevent collapse. I fight, I work, I burn, until there is nothing left. And when at last my body fails completely, they will not bury me. They will strip the augmetics for reuse, salvage the flesh for sustenance, and throw the rest into a recycling pit. I will not be mourned. I will be dismantled. I do not know how long I have been like this. Hours, years, centuries. Time is meaningless in the endless cycles of the machine. My only measure is pain, and pain is eternal. This is the experience of being a servitor. To be awake, but not alive. To feel, but not act. To remember, but not be. To obey without end. I am not man. I am not machine. I am the thing in between. I am the warning whispered in the shadows of the Imperium, that there are fates worse than death. I am a servitor. The Imperium of man is built on sacrifice. Every stone, every fortress, every ship of the line is mortared with blood. To live within it is to accept that your life belongs not to you, but to the endless machine of survival. And yet, among all the horrors of this dark millennium, Perhaps none embody the Imperium's cruelty more perfectly than the Servitor. For what is a Servitor, if not a symbol of the Imperium's view of humanity? To the Adeptus Mechanicus, flesh is weak, fallible, corruptible. Only the machine endures. Only the Omnissiah is pure. The Servitor, then, is the ultimate expression of that creed. A human body stripped of its weakness, reshaped into a tool of metal and circuits, forced into obedience. To the tech priests, this is not cruelty. It is function. It is utility. It is worship. To the High Lords of Terror, to the generals of the Astra Militarum, to the shipmasters of the Imperial Navy, Servitors are not people. They are infrastructure. They are the silent tide that builds the warships, loads the munitions, fuels the reactors, and carries the weight of empire. To question their existence would be to question the very foundation of the Imperium itself. And so, no one questions. No one asks. The tragedy lies here, that once, every Servitor was a person. They had names, they had families, they had hopes, fears, loves, and dreams. All erased, all overwritten, all sacrificed to the endless war. The Imperium does not merely kill its people. It hollows them out, twists them into things neither living nor dead, neither human nor machine. But worse still is this. The spark remains. Somewhere deep inside, a fragment of self survives the lobotomy. A faint memory, a flicker of awareness, a scream that no one hears. And so the Servitor is not truly dead, but trapped alive, conscious, enslaved within its own body, forever denied freedom, forever denied peace. This is the cruel genius of the Imperium, to make use of its enemies, its criminals, its unwanted, not by destroying them, but by unmaking them, to recycle the human spirit into fuel for the machine of war, to declare that even the soul itself is just another resource to be consumed. And what does this say about humanity in the 41st millennium? That in its desperate quest to survive, mankind has devoured its own dignity, that in its endless war for existence, it has become the very tyranny it fears. The Servitor is a mirror held up to the Imperium itself, a shambling husk, alive but not alive, powerful but soulless, enduring but forever broken. There are those who whisper that being turned into a Servitor is a fate worse than death. They are wrong. It is not worse than death. It is the death of everything that makes life worth living, while leaving the body behind as a grotesque parody of survival. It is the slow murder of identity, repeated across billions of victims, normalized until it becomes invisible. And yet, the Imperium cannot exist without them. Remove the Servitors, and the Manufactoria falls silent. The starships drift without power. The armies run dry of weapons and ammunition. The Emperor's realm collapses. The Imperium is built upon the backs of these wretched things, and it will grind them into dust until the very end of time. That is the true meaning. That is the true tragedy. To be a Servitor is not simply to be enslaved. It is to become the embodiment of the Imperium's philosophy, that the individual is nothing, the machine of mankind is everything. It is to become an eternal warning, a testament that in the grim darkness of the far future, your life is not your own. You will be taken. You will be remade. You will be consumed. You will serve until you are broken. And when you are broken, you will be replaced. This is the fate of the Servitor. This is the fate of humanity. And in the 41st millennium, there is no escape. In the Imperium of man, a Servitor is not merely a tool, it is a symbol, a living reminder that the Imperium does not endure through faith or glory, but through the endless sacrifice of its people reduced to slaves, fused into machines, and stripped of the last fragments of their humanity. To the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Servitor embodies their creed. The flesh is weak, the machine is eternal. Flesh grafted with steel, minds overwritten with code. These are not abominations to them, but sacred unions of man and machine. In their eyes, this is not cruelty, but perfection of function. To the Imperium itself, Servitors are the foundation upon which the Empire rests. Without them, the Manufactoria would fall silent. Without them, the warships of the Imperial Navy would be empty hulls. Without them, the armies of the Astra Militarum would march without weapons or ammunition. They are the living infrastructure of mankind's survival, and yet they are never acknowledged as living at all. And here lies the true tragedy. Every Servitor was once a person. They had a name, a family, a voice. They carried memories, loves, and fears. All of it erased, all of it overwritten, not destroyed, but hollowed out until nothing remains but a shell that serves. The Imperium does not simply kill its people, it unmakes them, twists them into something that is neither alive nor dead. Worse still, a fragment endures. A sliver of consciousness remains, trapped behind the programming. They still feel pain. They still remember flickers of their past. They still know, in some small part, what they have lost. But they cannot resist. They cannot scream. They cannot be heard. They are prisoners inside their own flesh, condemned to serve until their bodies finally collapse. And so the Servitor becomes more than a tool. It becomes a mirror, a reflection of the Imperium itself, vast, powerful, enduring, but soulless, broken, and hollow within. Just as the Servitor is reduced to function, so too has humanity reduced itself to nothing but survival, no matter the cost. The tragedy is twofold. The tragedy of each individual life erased, denied identity, denied freedom, and the greater tragedy of mankind itself, forced to devour its own dignity to survive the horrors of the galaxy. The Servitor is the Imperium's final truth, its silent declaration carved into flesh and steel. In the grim darkness of the far future, the individual is nothing. Only the machine endures. This is the meaning. This is the tragedy.